that we've had so far. I think we learned a lot from John McNair in the golf business, and both with Don and Bill in regards to teaching, and I think the presentation on the golf course superintendent and from the commissioner of the LPGA. Hopefully you've enjoyed the day so far. And we have a treat for you this afternoon too. We're going to talk about marketing, and that's so key and important to our business these days. So we've got two just terrific golf professionals that are going to impart their knowledge of what they do to you. So let me introduce them. First is DJ Limardi, and DJ, he's really got to start from the bottom and worked up. He grew up in suburban Chicago and moved to Santa Barbara at the age of 18 to continue his education and refine his career plan. His early experience at Sandpiper Golf Club convinced him that he should pursue a career in the PGA golf profession. He played on the golf team at Santa Barbara City College, began his education in the business of golf, working at guest service department for the Sandpiper Golf Club. He was promoted to assistant professional and was given increasing responsibility for managing merchandise program and booking and facilitating golf tournaments. He subsequently was promoted to first assistant and was in charge of the tournament coordination. And then in 2005, he was promoted to the position of head golf professional at Sandpiper and was responsible for managing all golf operations. Then in 2007, he became the general manager and director of golf for Sandpiper Golf Club. And in 2012, he became the general manager and director of golf for Rancho San Marcos Golf Club, one of their sister facilities in the Santa Barbara area. And with 2 properties, DJ is proud to lead a group of qualified professionals striving to ensure their exceptional guest experience at each and every property. So welcome, DJ. And our next golf professional is Josh Alpert. Josh is a Class A member and the founder of Good Swings Happen Junior Golf Academy. Josh is a Titleist staff member. He's also a Scpga Player Development Committee member and a SNAG certified instructor and advisory board member. In addition to leading the GSHJGA, Josh has been a golf instructor for the past 12 years, teaching over 20,000 individual and group lessons to players of all ages and skill levels. He has led the balanced swing and golf fitness seminars aimed at integrating health awareness into the golf experience. He also co-leads focus training seminars aimed at improving the player's mental game. Using a direct, simple approach, Josh gives the students and the tools for understanding the rhythm and motion of the golf swing. He helps them to see themselves why great shots happen with the least amount of effort by developing proper mechanics from pre-swing steps through the in-swing process by increasing awareness of how the golf swing is supposed to feel. Players of all skill levels can maximize their potential as players and ensure they're enjoying the game. And so let's welcome Josh as well. And to moderate basically this presentation, we're going to turn this over to Brianne Lockhart to ask questions, and so they can have a little Q&A and hopefully educate you as well. Enjoy.
And if you have any questions throughout this session, just raise your hand and we'll get to you. Our first question here would be, DJ and Josh, how have you created a brand and how do you market it? DJ for your properties and Josh for your Junior Golf Academy. Josh, why don't you go ahead first?
Okay, thank you all for being here. Pleasure to hopefully shed some light on some social media aspects of what we do through our Junior Golf Academy. And just really quickly I absolutely loved the last presentation from the other room, and just for I think what we all do in this room, trying to grow the game, as leads into what we're going to hopefully go through here today. If you have the passion that Mr. Wan has for what he does and is trying to do for the LPGA Tour, and we're able to translate any level of that passion to what you do at your locations, what I try to do every day to juniors and families for our Junior Golf Academy. that if you love what you do and you're able to impart that passion outward, then you'll be successful. These are all things that we're going to talk about today, just tools and things to help along with that. But I think that that's the core of it, and these are all things that we can take advantage of if we do have that passion to reach a wider range of people and do so more effectively. Good Things Happen Junior Golf Academy is a junior golf academy that I founded in 2009. We now have programming for kids starting at age 5, year-round programming for kids age 5 through 17. We target our area on kids up until they leave high school. Personally, as a coach, work with several players after that in college and aspiring to play professionally. But the focus of our academy is for those players that are 5 to 17. This is just a little bit of an overview of some of the social media aspects that we use, going through it from the website that we have, Facebook fan pages, some analytics, a YouTube page, just getting into the world of Instagram here, use Constant Contact as our email, and some examples of some brochures. This is our website, and for us this is super critical, partly because we're able to sign people up online. It's certainly an effective way of reaching the customer when they're away from the facility. It gives a parent and a child a way to research us, learn about who we are, what we do, the types of programs, again in a way that doesn't require them to be at the facility. And certainly I would imagine, depending on who you are in the room and whether it's your golf course or whatever it is that you need to be promoting, the ability to have somebody learning about you when they're not standing inside your facility is certainly critical moving forward. So this is just an example of our homepage here. The ability to sign people up online, just an example of a couple of the classes currently being offered, and an example of the sign-up page as you go into the website. Facebook, as a human being, the person that is Josh Alpert, I have absolutely no interest in the Facebook world. I'm deathly afraid of it. I don't understand it. I had our original Good Swings Happen page was not a fan page. Made the mistake not knowing a few years ago of setting it up as a personal page, and found out how many people in my high schools remembered who I was, and I didn't know what to do. So I got some education on the world of Facebook and began a fan page where effectively I was able to transmit out reports and or success stories or programs of what we do without having to do the day-to-day engaging that I was afraid of. So for those of you who are afraid of Facebook or don't quite know how it possibly could work to your advantage, I would suggest talking to some people who do and learn more about it. I wouldn't be the best person I'm not a Facebook master by any stretch. But we use this fan page every day at our Junior Golf Academy. We'll have a kid hitting a shot, take a picture of him, and explain out to the world what it is that we did that day. And what starts to happen when we look at the analytics, this picture was taken a little while ago, but when we were in our summer camp, and this one was not taken during the summer, we do postings every single day of kids in the activities, what we're learning, whether it was a full swing or a kid who got a hole-in-one on the 5-foot putting competition. And we posted it out and found that what was happening was that the parent of the child who got the hole-in-one on the 5-foot putting challenge was telling all of the moms that her child was friends with that they got the hole-in-one, and all of a sudden we started looking at the analytics, and hundreds of families were talking about our program, even though it may have been indirectly. And that type of effort has made an enormous difference in the numbers of kids that are in our facilities. For me as a golf professional who's there 6 days a week, 60, 70 hours a week, I'm getting a lot of people coming up to me that I've never met before that are telling me about a post that we put through because we are giving them access to what we do through Facebook. Our YouTube, we have now 23 videos that we've posted, a range of them from summer camps that we do to individual kid moments. We have a channel now so that parents again can see not only fun stories from what their kids are doing, but get a gauge of the type of and variety of things that we offer. Instagram, again, just started using Instagram this past year, but allows us to take pretty cool pictures of the kids for our purposes. I asked both of these parents if we could use it, and they said we could, so you're allowed to look at the 2 photos on the right. And again, we just post them. I just take pictures of kids during the programs, and it goes out into the world. Kids, teenagers, a lot of the people that are our assistants in these programs end up sending out information that I don't truly to this point have no idea exactly how it gets where it goes. But what I do know is that it ends up getting to a lot of people in our community, and again, the success and the fun that we have at our program is moving through the community as a result of small pictures that we take of kids that we love to work with. Constant Contact is an email service. We have over 800 kids in our database right now. Up until about 2009, I was just intelligent enough to stay up till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before events, sending individual emails out to people, telling them how their kid was doing. And I just didn't have a clue that there was far more efficient ways of doing this stuff. I learned the hard way on a lot of these things. But using Constant Contact, for example, as an email source allows me to send out emails to our mass database or to certain segments of our population. If we're running a program for 5 to 8-year-old kids, then I can send it to those people. I would assume if you're tracking your own customers and your own business, and if you do have the ability to track your customers, to send out email blasts on specials probably would be advantageous. Flyers and brochures, these are just simple things that we use, but again, having them, using them to promote what you do. We end up sending a lot of our brochures to businesses around us so that the people in the local community who aren't already at the facility know about the programs that we run. That's just an example of what we use. We do some Twitter stuff as well. I don't use it predominantly, but I understand that a lot of people do. We started the website in 2009, and just to give you sort of at least a look at how some of this has affected our programs. I would really hope that the reason that we've had more people in our programs is because we do a great job constructing. We promote fun and safety more than anything else. Certainly having great professionals on staff, being creative and innovative with what we do, and the kids going home having a great time is why we are a successful program. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's coincidental that the numbers of kids in our programs, I think that this is the units. This year in 2012, a unit being described as a single kid in a program on a day. We had close to 5,000 kids this year in a program. So not just practicing or visiting, but actually in a program. And in 2010, it was at 1,400. So our ability to market through Facebook and through the website and through hitting people with email blasts about programs that are going on has created a far greater amount of eyes on what we do and allows us to fill the seats in addition to hopefully doing a good job. So I think that those numbers completely coincide with the time that we've been, and energy and money and learning that we've invested with these things. I'm by no means even remotely close to an expert. Initially, when I was asked to do this, I thought almost hilarious that I would be standing up here trying to educate anybody on the world of marketing or social media. But I'm in a process of getting better at it, and I've accepted it and use it on a day-to-day basis, and it is making a difference. And hopefully in 3 or 4 years from now, I'll actually know what I'm talking about. That's just the history of it. So.
And DJ, now would you like to talk about branding and marketing with your properties?
Sure. Thanks, Josh. That was some interesting information. Thank you all. It's a great opportunity to be here. For our golf courses, I definitely didn't create the brand at our golf courses. I came to Sandpiper, has been in business for over 40 years. Rancho San Marcos since 1998. So when I got there, they did have established brands. I think what we try and do with our team is we try and make sure that we uphold that brand, and we make sure that that brand standard is set at a new bar. Something we always say, it's never good enough. So we want to make sure we're enhancing our brand at all times, and we market as such. So as far as how we market it, we do a lot of the same things that Josh does. We do Facebook, Twitter posts, some Instagram, paper advertising, email blasting. And all that stuff I think is very important, but I think that what we focus on the most is our guest experience and guest interaction. I try not to have the team pull away too much from who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. I think at times too much time is spent in the interactive world of computers and Facebook and Twitter, and it takes away from the actual experience of what we're trying to do. So I think we focus a little bit more on the old school approach of marketing, which is word of mouth, and actually making sure that our products and our experiences, most importantly, meets people's expectations.
Great, thank you, DJ. How have you been able to work Golf 2.0 into programs into your businesses?
Sure. Golf 2.0, I think there's some very good information in there. We aren't actually using the template per se, only because that at our facilities we have a smaller focus on instruction. We're actually in the same market as Don Parsons that does some great golf instruction in Santa Barbara. Right now our focus is more on the golf aspect. So we've taken a lot of the programs and the ideas of the programs and used them to kind of start to build our instruction programs at the facilities. We have 8 young PGA apprentices that work at the 2 properties, and they're learning lessons from the Golf 2.0 and really trying to make sure that we're focused on the same initiatives as those programs.
Great. And Josh?
Yeah, I would say for us a combination of both. We do teach at our facility. I personally am a part of the Get Golf Ready program. X number of week sessions for X number of dollars, really trying to get people to start taking the programs really right through the guidelines. A lot of the free lesson programs we do every time that they come through and participate. A bunch of us, all the PGA professionals at our facility. The Junior League, which is more recently come through, we do have a golf team through Good Swings Happen that's being developed now, so we will be participating directly, or will be intending to participate directly with the leagues. But I would say, similarly, in the vision of Golf 2.0, we creatively are trying to find ways outside the box to create new programs to grow the game of golf in a way that is fun. And that's, from the junior standpoint more than anything. We talked about it here, heard it earlier with some of the instruction. There's so much technical stuff here, but part of the reason that these guys are up here talking about the teaching is that they make it fun for their students, however it is that they teach the game of golf. We have girls-only programs that we run now. We have 5 and 6 and 7-year-old programs that we run at rec park facilities away from the golf course, introducing the kids in. And we've now basically branched out, since we have so many kids, into creating smaller pods of more specified instruction so that we're able to better help the player in a more specified way. And I think that in all of those ways, the programs that we're creating are fun and allow the dynamic that we're working with to get better relative to their experience and skill. And that completely matches what it is that Golf 2.0 is trying to get us to do. It's just to reach out and engage our customer in a way that makes them enjoy playing the game.
Great answer. What are some steps you guys are currently taking to grow your business and attract new customers?
I think the first thing that we really focus on to maintain customers and grow customers, to attract new customers, is awareness. It's personal awareness. Each of the associates understanding how important they are to the overall experience. At the end of the day, people are paying us. This is a voluntary interaction. These people are going into their pocket, pulling out money, giving us something, and they expect a service. Being around golf courses since I was 4 or 5 years old, that to me sometimes you get into a routine. This is what's supposed to happen. This is how it is, and we forget that we're so close to it that we may not understand it. When he talks about not understanding Facebook, I was there. I had an assistant professional that said, "Hey, we have to do this, and we need to focus on that," because sometimes you get so close to it. So to answer the question, I think it's really that awareness of what the customers want, analyzing that, trying to figure it out, and making sure that that we're providing services that can not only maintain the customers we have, but attract new ones to the game, whether it's making the golf course easy enough, making it hard enough, make sure pace of play is correct, just understanding what they want. And that goes from a golf standpoint, from a retail standpoint, construction, whatever we do. I think it's that analyzation of data and what customers really need and want has been successful for us.
Yeah, I would say, sort of almost half answered it in the last one. It's just growing on what it is that you do well. We started our summer camp program 6 or 7 years ago with one single camp, just to see how it was going to fly, and we had 15 or 20 kids in it. The next summer, we ended up with more kids wanting to do it and broke out to 2 camps. This year, we're going to run 5 week-long summer camps. Last year, we pretty much maxed out at 48 kid maximum for every week. We started now doing 2 camps instead of 5. We have 7 camps now. 5 for the 7 to 14-year-old kid, 2 camps for the 5 to 7-year-old kid. We had so many requests that we've decided to do spring break camp and winter camp. So what ends up happening is we've taken what we do that is successful and found ways to spread it out to smaller demographics and or more times of the year. We started our tournaments, just running 3 tournaments for the best kids in the area. We're now trying to create tournaments that are less competitive, tournaments whether it's mother-daughter, father-daughter. We're starting to range into tournaments that break into different customer dynamics so that we have something for everyone.
Great. DJ, how do you retain the customers that you currently have?
Can I go back for 1 second?
Yes, you sure.
Does anybody have anything that they're doing to create new customers that they like to share? Any programs that they've worked on or anything they have going or anything?
I've actually done quite a bit of Facebook, and oddly, I've gotten to it in a roundabout direction. I got involved in a lot of the teaching areas, and now I'm getting, as a full-time teacher, I'm getting quite a bit of referrals from all over the country from other teachers who are sending people my way. So I haven't figured out that. I was hoping I was going to get some great Facebook stuff here today, but I'm not. I haven't had a lot of luck getting into customers that way yet. It's been interesting to kind of come around the other way where I'm getting referrals out. And then you just do the other thing. The one referral comes in, and then they tell a bunch of their friends and goes back to a word of mouth thing. So every new customer you get is a possible big thing.
Can I go back to those questions? All right. One more thing. Another thing, as far as growing a customer database and getting new customers, one interesting thing that is kind of a touchy subject for us as golf professionals, I think, for most of the people we talk to, but relationships and in name, a new relationship with Golf Now has really helped us in Santa Barbara. Now, you have to understand, Santa Barbara is 90 miles from any major city, okay? So we're in this little bubble in Santa Barbara. And Golf Now, we all know it's a discount, and there's a lot of negativity towards it. And for all the years since its conception until last July, I said no, 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 no. I didn't talk to them, I didn't listen, I was kind of closed-minded. I just took the negative and said, I'm not doing it. But then I started to think about it a little bit more, and I said, how can this benefit us? How is this going to make not only just Sandpiper Rancho San Marcos, but golf in Santa Barbara, how's it going to make it better? So I thought about that a lot, and I went to them with a proposal. And I said, okay. And they've been pressuring us. We want you on the thing. I understand. Sandpiper is 214 acres on the ocean, and Rancho San Marcos is a beautiful golf course. Again, if they can get our golf courses on their website and they can sell their trade times or whatever it is, they're going to make more money. So I understood that to start. But what I said is, I said, well, when I click on your website, I was on there for the first time, you go to a map of the United States. You click on California, it pulls up Fresno, LA, Palm Springs, all these places. Nowhere within anywhere close to Santa Barbara. I said, well, that's the first problem. I said, how can I sign up to something where there's absolutely no visibility for our market. They said, okay, good point. I said, well, and also Central Coast. If you go to LA and you scroll down, it says Central Coast. I said, well, I'm from Chicago, and when I grew up, before I moved to Santa Barbara, I thought Santa Barbara was in Mexico. I had never heard of it. I'd never seen mountains before in my life. I was a city boy, and Central California might as well be Mars. I don't know what that means. There's no, it didn't mean anything. You know, there was no market there, so kind of back to marketing. So I said, this is what I'll do. I'll partner with you guys, but I want Santa Barbara to be a bold black letter destination on the map. No, we can't do that. I said, okay, well then I can't sign up. But after more and more conversations, we started to negotiate. We have a great relationship. I was understanding their business. They were understanding what I was trying to do. I got some other golf courses in the area to kind of talk. You know, we've been talking together. I got the CVB in Santa Barbara to kind of understand. And at the end of the day, it wasn't just about golf. In my eyes, it's creating a new destination. You know, Santa Barbara, if nobody's been there, it's a great place. It's beautiful. The weather's good. We have a film festival, great restaurants, hotels, bar. I mean, it's a great place. You know, it would be better than Monterey if Pebble Beach didn't have the golf history. You know, so if we get some golf history someday, Santa Barbara might be up there. But we didn't have a market. So to get new customers and to let people know how great it was, I found this relationship that could benefit us. And to this day, you know, we've been there with them for less than a year, but there's been a lot of new customers, people that from, not only from California, northern and southern California, but people outside California, that Santa Barbara's become legitimate because it's on Golf Now. You know, because they saw Santa Barbara stay on there and you didn't have to scroll through, you know, the 50,000 things to find it, it just made it legitimate. You know, does that, you know, is Golf Now the end-all be-all of what is legitimate? Not. Absolutely not. But it just gave us another way to help market our environment. And hopefully not only would it benefit our golf courses, but all the hotels, all the restaurants, Don's business, and teaching business in Santa Barbara, as long as we can enhance that market space. And again, I think that was all built on understanding a relationship a little bit more than just saying no right away.
Also, Free Birds Burritos in Santa Barbara, one of the best burritos I've ever had.
That's a good burrito.
That's what I've heard.
Worth checking out.
DJ, do you want to talk about retaining?
Sure. Retaining customers. Any questions about Golf Now? It's usually a sensitive subject. We talked about it in San Diego 2 weeks ago. No? No questions? Okay, good. Retaining customers. I think retaining customers is getting more and more difficult when there's a negative situation because there's so many different ways they can beat you up. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, all these website reviews. You can, I mean, we all can agree you can't please everybody. And you know, we have customers come off the golf course. I hear this every single day I go to work. My office is right in the golf shop, basically. So I'm sitting there and I'm typing away or on the phone, and I hear a guy, one of the assistants, ask a customer, you know, how's your day out there? And they're going to go on for 10 minutes how unbelievable the experience was. Oh my God, it was so beautiful out there. I saw a dolphin and this, that, and the other, and we loved it, and oh, it was great. 2 minutes later, a guy comes in and tells us the golf course is in the worst condition he's ever seen. He wants his money back and tees off on one of the assistants to the point where he's kind of, you know, shaking back there. And this happens in the same 20-minute span. People's expectations are highly different, and their motivations are highly different. Some people have a very high expectation. Some people have a mid expectation, but they pretend like they have a high expectation so they can get free stuff. There's all these different areas. And so to retain customers, we find it very important to listen to people and not make it emotional. We try not to engage people on an emotional level. It's not a me against Mr. Smith or Mr. Smith against an assistant or any of those things. We just try and listen to them, find out what the issue is, and solve the problem. You know, we always talk about the gray matter in between the problem, the solution means absolutely nothing. It's how do we get to the outcome that we desire to make sure we retain that customer. Once a month, I go through all the review sites I can handle reading, and I find any negatives, and then I find a way to contact that person. And whether I have to go through the whatever organization that runs those reviews, whether it's Travelocity or whether it's Golf Now or greenskeeper.org, I go through them and say, hey, can you get me this customer's information? And they always do. And then I'll reach out to them. And the ability to just, if they know that we know and we care, it's a win 100% of the time. I've never had anybody that I talked to that didn't go away at least happier than they did when they wrote that review. And in most cases, they'll take it down or they'll change it. But retaining customers in today's world with all the technology and all the different ways that they can voice their opinion, it's very difficult. Very, very difficult. It's a full-time job.
People feel like they have more, source now where they can go post on these reviews and then other people read them. So it's important, that you contact them. And sometimes, like you were saying, down in San Diego, most of the time they'll take down their comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge.
People say a lot of things behind the cloak of technology that they would never say to your face. I think we can all, has anybody got torn up via email or Twitter or review? Does anybody raise your hand if you've had a negative experience electronically? Yeah. No, a lot of times people won't do that. They wouldn't do it to your face. So what I try and do is, if it's negative, I want to get to their face. I want to talk to them personally, whether it's on the phone or in person, so we can have that conversation and I can make it better versus making it worse or ignoring it.
How do you retain your customers?
Retaining customers clearly comes to quality of experience. Obviously, in our situation, it's more about a junior golf academy and programs that kids do. With respect to golf courses and a golf course or larger golf courses, there's still going to be challenges. We're going to have a given day where drills work or don't work. Lunch shows up on time, doesn't show up on time. It's all very small. It all seems trivial. But a kid who didn't like the things that you put on the pizza very well comes back from a parent as a negative experience, probably no different than somebody who went to the golf course after the greens were just punched, doesn't understand that these are things that happen on every golf course in America a couple times a year, thinks that it was your golf course that robbed them of their greatest round ever, when in fact that's just the way that it is all the time. And through these social medias, you get to hear about all those negative things. But quality of experience, definitely. And then I think on both levels, and you touched on it in the first answer, doing diligence to reach the customer through emails or Facebooks or all these types of ways to be available to your customer that way is critical. Being available on the day-to-day, in person, shaking people's hands, asking them how they're doing, never losing sight that at the end of it, if you are at your facility somebody who is available to your customer, you are there to hear whether it is good or it is bad, and they know that you're available and want to do your best to help them, then they respect that you're there for them and taking the time to hear what it is that's going on. If there is no communication, if you're not in front of your customer, they don't know where to find you, and the greens weren't great on that one day, then they're drawing their own conclusions about what's going on at the golf club or what's going on in the program. But hitting your customer face up and being straightforward and honest about what's going on and available, both at the day-to-day level and in the social media realm, I think is the most critical thing.
Great. I know we already spoke a little bit on social media, but can we talk a little bit about some successes we've had, maybe about how often we post, if you have a personal Facebook page versus your fan page, and things of that nature. If you use LinkedIn for your personal resume, how that works. DJ, how that works?
For the golf courses, we do the social media, as I mentioned before. We do one Facebook, link, Twitter post a day on different kind of a schedule, what's being said and why type thing. So a marketing plan there for the social media. The guys are doing Instagram now, so just kind of sending out some images of the facilities, letting people know what's going on. I have to be honest, the technology to me, it's tough. I don't have a personal Facebook page. I used to have one, but I canceled it. You know, I have a hard time with it. You know, I think that as a society, we're straying away so much from personal interaction that I just came to a point when I said, this doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know why I'm doing this. Am I doing it because everybody else is doing it? Nobody cares what I'm doing or what I ate last night. And that's just me personally. And so I just made a personal decision to get away from it. From a golf course standpoint, you know, I'm a data-driven individual, and I've not seen data that says that Facebook has driven any business to the profitability of the facility. We do it more for fun. We have a significant amount of followers at Sandpiper and Rancho as well, but again, from a data standpoint, I cannot look at a piece of paper and say this is going to be a success or failure of our business. So it's, again, right, wrong, or indifferent. I think it's important to be engaged and involved in some of those things, but I don't think it's the end-all, be-all of what's going to make a facility or a person successful, because at the end of the day, we have to perform. That's my personal opinion on that type of technology.
Do you use LinkedIn at all?
I haven't. I don't look at it very often. Again, I do have LinkedIn, and that's another one. I have to be honest. I don't know why I haven't. I don't know why.
LinkedIn, I'll tell you my experience on LinkedIn. It is, when you go to find a job right out of college, they tell you, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you're not going to get hired. Because, I mean, the first place people go is to your LinkedIn account, to look at your resume online. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. You know, graduated from college about 2-3 years ago, and that's one of the things they stressed, is that you have to have LinkedIn and you have to have a one-page resume to get a job, or you're not even considered in this market right now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You might want to keep it up.
Doesn't sound like you're looking for a job.
I hope, you never know, I hope not.
Should be okay.
But no, that's interesting. So at
Yeah.
school, they actually recommend it.
Yeah.
Just goes to show we all sit in the curve somewhere. I have a LinkedIn account, but I don't look at, check. I'm very, very inconsistent with it as well. So here's the two people who are supposed to be telling. We know what we're doing. We're not there yet. But the point is, I think that you sit where you sit with the whole social media and marketing thing. You are where you are right now. And if you are aware of some of the stories that we're sharing here today, you know, we are both attempting and trying to stay ahead of the curves that are out there. The curve is only going in that direction more. This is going to become more and more and more of a social media driven world. It is what it is. And you either get on board or you are going to get left behind on a lot of these things already now, and in years to come, it's going to be more so.
I read a quote the other day. It said, "Social media is not bad." Not bad. Kind of hit it right there. That was pretty great. What are some niche audiences that you go after when you're marketing?
You know, can I go back again?
Yep, sorry.
Sorry. There's one quote that my sister is younger than I am. She's a dentist in Chicago, and her and I are very similar, but she sent me this picture, and it was a quote from Albert Einstein, what I found very interesting. Now, my opinion is not I'm against social media or technology or anything. I am a techie guy. I've got the iPhone 5 and the Macs, and I'm good with computers, so I'm not against it. But some of the ways that society is going and what Josh said, it does scare me, even though I'm only 31 years old. So this quote from Albert Einstein says that he was afraid of the day when personal interactions when technology surpassed human interaction. He said we're going to have a society of idiots. Okay, and I had that in my back pocket. I didn't know if I wanted to bring it up today, but I look at it every day. And I think about it every single morning, and it scares me because the social media, it's important, but golf, that's our business, that's not what it's about, okay? It's not why I personally got in this business. It's not the history of the game, and it should not dictate whether we're successful or not. And I think that we have to change that. We can dabble in it, but I think as PGA golf professionals, we can make sure that that human interaction is who we are and what we do, and we don't let that email and the Facebook and the Twitter guide us and force us to do things and not be that guy that's out there shaking hands with Mr. Smith and doing all those things, because we have too much social media and too many emails to put together that we can't be out of our office. I think that would be a huge mistake, and like I said, I personally just try and keep our team at bay so we can be out with the customers and not turn into those idiots that Mr. Einstein was talking about. So.
I would have to agree with you. I would say that social media, it isn't going anywhere. We should all get involved. It is very important. But I would have to say that, you know, shaking hands with your customers is crucial. It's not going away, and it should not go away. I thought it was really interesting. Michael Wan was talking about, you know, all the thank you notes. When's the last time we wrote a thank you note? When's the last time you've received a thank you note? Wouldn't it be nice to receive more thank you notes? In a week, how many would you get, maybe? In a month? How many in a year do you think you guys receive? 5 or 6?
That's still right.
So, I mean, that's something I
Benefits of the
personally...
Junior Golf Academy, you get a lot of handles.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I have no other way of doing it.
Golf is a very traditional sport, and I feel, in my opinion, that those things should not go away. Do you want to talk about this now?
Sure. Niche audiences. Kids is a focus for us at the golf course, although we are at a higher end property that's more expensive. The local community in Santa Barbara is something we focus on a lot to make sure that we retain that. And then kids are important. You know, the First Tee program, we're trying to get involved with the First Tee. Don does a great job at his property with the First Tee. Oh, Buff, I'm sorry. Buff actually runs the First Tee in Santa Barbara. But we're trying to get more involved in that and focused on that. But we do segment our customer types and try and market to those individual customer types, whether it be a resort guest or a local player, a new preferred player, which would be someone that lives within 90 or 100 miles of the golf course. And we do segment those and market to those different areas based on what they need and what they're looking for.
Great.
Similar thing for us. It's just, we've already spoken to it for the most part, but yeah, it's just creating programs for specific groups, whether it's girls or juniors between certain ages. Just specifying them is exactly what we do. Better player programs as well. I work with, it's not just juniors, but sort of on the junior academy team here today. But mental training programs, physical fitness programs that they were speaking about earlier, offering as many different types of programs that you can to engage customers in different ways. It makes a huge difference. We have a for me now with the academy, you have a dad who I've been teaching who, well, first it was this guy that I am teaching. Then it turns out that the guy has a back problem, mental problem, obviously. I've met one that hasn't had a mental problem yet. So there's plenty of discussion in the mental realm, plenty of ability to help somebody physically with a class that gets offered specifically with therapists in a room that allow that person to help out. Turns out that the guy that I teach has kids. The kids are in the Junior Golf Academy. Has a wife who doesn't know what he's going to do now that the husband who plays golf and his kids are becoming golfers. She doesn't know what she's going to do because she's losing her family to golf. And so it starts off as a golf lesson that I give once a week to this guy who I've always known as the guy that comes to 6:30 Wednesday night golf lessons. And through having these resources and the ability to, from the money standpoint at the facility, we now have him as a customer, his kids as customers, his wife as customers, but we also have him as a customer just in the education realm, as an individual lesson guy, as a guy who will take a seminar with us once every couple of months, do a physio thing with us. And I think that the example of sort of what we can do to reach past the individual customer and have more for him to do or buy or enjoy, and then reach into his family and do the same, is the mentality that our industry needs to have in order to be successful. And it's there. The people that we have can become 5 people or 3 people or 10 or 12. It's up to us to have something for them to do at the facility and the proper way of engaging them so that we get them. And I think that's I keep hearing and seeing that we're losing the game, we're losing customers, we're doing these things. If we had the awareness and the ability to reach our customer that we have right now, we can grow the business from those people without even moving away from it. So,
Great. What are some marketing techniques that you find most effective, DJ, and also least effective?
Most effective, I think. One interesting thing we did starting last year is we took iPads, so we took a piece of technology and we went on the golf course and we started taking pictures of people with iPads and emailing them right to them from the golf course. So a group of people on the tee box on our 11th hole, which is an oceanfront green, and we get their 4 people and send them a picture right away with our logo burnt in there. That's gotten a lot of feedback. A lot of people, a lot of interaction, that people really found that exciting, and they would send it around to the different people, their family members. So that's been one kind of marketing program and play that we've done that's been successful. Again, I always revert back to the experience because, again, it's that voluntary exchange of money that we have going on. So the experience I think that we can provide to people is the ultimate marketing tool. Because at the end of the day, they're coming there for an experience, and if you can provide an exceptional one, which we really try and do, I believe that nothing else, no print media, Facebook, nothing else matters if we're providing that great experience. As far as least effective, probably phone book ads is probably the least effective right now. I think we just went out of our last contract last month. Print media, again, back to the data collection, print media over the last 24 months, the return on investment based on our tracking is just not there anymore. And that goes for all different types of print media, which it's interesting. We're not out of print media altogether. We just did one with American Airlines that'll see about 3 million people. That'll be in the back of every airline seat from March and all of March and all of April of every American Airlines flight that has a section on Santa Barbara and then a full page on our 2 golf courses. But print media, in general, seems to be declining. Most importantly, the phone books are dead. And that was a huge part, I think, of everybody's paper advertising plan was the phone book. It's kind of sad to see it go away, but that's what it is.
When's the last time anyone's opened a phone book in the past year?
I had one on my doorstep when I got home last night. It was this thick. Seriously. The advertisements are just gone, and so it's a tough sell.
Yeah, I would, again, for us, because it's programming, it's probably different to a lot of what you might relate to your businesses, but a simple app in a phone. There's one where you can take a video of a kid and drop a big rock on top of his head after he's hit it, and then sending it off to the parents. So to be able to download the image of your golf course behind a scenic shot, take pictures of your customers, they're going to show that experience to other people. Your golf course gets branded into the back of the picture, is marketing and it's advertising, and it's the kind of thing that gets talked about at the dinner table or at the bar or wherever it is and gets shown. And that's sort of, I guess part of the social media thing that we're talking about here that isn't the direct social media, is the indirect. We take pictures, the picture goes out into the world, and that picture gets shared all over the place. And to have your golf course branded into that picture, or to be able to just use a simple app on a phone to have some funny moment with a junior that you can email off to the parents is showing going the extra step. It's not just a half-hour golf lesson where you sat there and you taught them this or that, and then they left and you're collecting money from them. You're clearly finding different ways of having them have a good time. And if what we do with juniors to have them have a good time playing golf is relatively the same kind of thing that you're doing with your customers to make sure that they're having a good time at the golf course, the little fun things become advertising and marketing heroes. Just a lot of little things.
How do you train your staff to focus on the important key areas? DJ, do you want to cover that?
The staff, I think the staff is the most, everybody that works at our properties, that's the most important key to our puzzle, in my opinion, and we talk about all the time. There's a lot of nice golf courses. I'm sure all of you work at very nice golf properties. We have a nice golf course. We have a good superintendent. You know, there's a lot of good products out there, but I always say what they don't have is our staff. And we have some very special people that work at the golf course, very passionate. They love to be around guests, and we hire them for that reason. We bring on people that like to engage, like to make sure that people have a good experience from start to finish. And we focus on details. We focus on details a lot. You know, when a box of hats comes in, you know, I'm highly involved in the merchandise, and I'm probably a vendor nightmare, because when a box comes in from anywhere, if the logos aren't perfectly straight, they go back. And I mean, I get out a ruler every single time and I look, and if it's not 100% perfect to our brand, I look at it as negative marketing. I'm not going to have our brand out on the street looking that way. So we send it back. And we try to train our staff that no detail can be too small. Every detail is important. And we make sure that no matter if it's an email or a Facebook post or the way that we show up to work, or whether we wear a belt or shave or do all those things that are important as professionals, we really focus on those things. And we talk about them every day, every week, all the time, just to make sure that, again, we're focused on the right things and making sure that our properties are looked at as very professional, and our customers can trust us to guide them in the right direction, whether it's buying a golf shirt or a hat or a golf club, or paying us money to enjoy an experience on the golf course.
Yeah, I would just mirror the general that, you know, for us it's other instructors leading kids in programs. So it's just taking the time to make sure that everybody's clear on what it is that we're doing, everyone clear on their assignments, whether for us if it's, you know, meeting and greeting, a lot of the simple things, how to meet kids and parents when they get there, how to say goodbye when they leave, all the different specific safety things, not specific to this conversation exactly what we do, but just taking the time to make sure that your staff is on board with the quality of the presentation.
Great. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Can anybody from the audience, and it's got to be, can somebody, you know, I was excited to be here. I like being involved with the PGA, and I like to learn from everybody. So can somebody tell me why you're here, sitting here at this marketing meeting, and just give me some insight of what you do at your property, and why you think marketing is important, that you would take your time to be here.
I kind of like to see what's going on in the real world, because where I work, we're going to do 135,000 rounds.
What's your name, sir?
Joel Lockett, Laguna Woods Village. So we are so crowded, and we do so many rounds. It's nice to do. I just need to hear what's really going on.
That makes sense.
We're trying to move people away from our golf shop.
Send them to Santa Barbara. Anybody else? How about some of you young guys?
Well, for me, you know, right now I work at a fully private facility, kind of higher end, and it's nice to get the perspective of what's going on in the rest of the golf community, because I'm not sure, you know, I am quite young, and I'm not sure I'm going to stay in the private sector or where I want to go with the game from here. So it kind of helps get a feel of what's going on at a, you know, vacation type facility, or, you know, at a teaching academy, and give you some perspective on the rest of the industry.
Yes,
I
sir.
work in a private club.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Brian.
Hey, Brian.
I work in a private club, kind of a lower end private club actually, and we've been losing members for, you know, several years, and that's been, you know, our biggest problem as a club is, you know, lack of membership. So in terms of marketing, how do we retain our current members, but how do we attract, you know, new members as well?
What's the problem?
I don't know, the economy is obviously one thing.
Yeah.
Being that we're kind of a blue collar club, I guess, you know, these people who are members, if their finances are suffering a little bit, the club, I mean, it's going to be the first thing that they drop. So
It's a scary time for us, I think. You know, did John? Were you all here for John's presentation, John McNair, this morning? Did you see that? Did he show that percentage of participation that we're losing? He showed that. Yeah, the 25% versus bowling, which is actually losing less participation. It's like that's kind of scary, but I guess that's why we're here. Anybody else have anything to share? Sir, what's your name?
Jeff Dean from Messina Golf Club, Palm Springs.
Hey, Jeff.
Just here to learn other perspectives. As you said, you know, our market is changing. Trying to figure out what other professionals are doing to capture their customer. Obviously, technology and social media is an innovation, and listening to the panel, I'm hoping to learn something from experts who are doing stuff that's cutting edge. Because you don't always, you get caught up in your own world and you don't really know what other professionals are doing. And you learn because markets are different. You're in Santa Barbara, I'm in Palm Springs, but I can always learn something. So, why?
And I would say just to that also, just even what not experts are doing, you know, like we're standing up here because I am 6 days a week in my world. Part of the reason that this is the first time I've been on this end of the equation in one of these things. And I love coming to these things for the same reason, because I am just doing everything I can to try to create better business, not lose business, make my customers' experience better. And I have no idea what anybody else in the world of golf is doing unless I come to these things, because it's all my time that I can do to deal with my problems. And I think it's, in a lot of ways, it's the share of your experience, while being very different probably than mine on the day-to-day, is very much the same. And as an industry, if we take the time to come to these things, whether even specifically anything I said has a word to do with what you guys do, or he does, or, you know, what we were able to hear the LPGA commissioner saying, being at these things, you'll pick something up, and it's being active and staying in communication that gives you an advantage. And the social media things for our person is just a piece of that equation, and it's a necessary piece. Not more than a piece, but it is a piece, and it's necessary.
Did anybody read the that long article in the PGA magazine that just came out about marketing? Nobody?
In the middle of it.
The middle of it? It's the whole middle? No? Okay, you need to go read it. It was a great article. Did you have a chance to read it yet? Yeah, I got mine, and that was, you know, there's a lot of things that come out, a lot of emails, and a lot of things to read and do in magazines. But this one in the PGA magazine that came out, it was about how golf professionals and about marketing and how we need to be involved and better educate ourselves to make sure that we're the decision makers. And it was a very good article, so if anybody hasn't read it, I'd recommend it. Whoever, the team that worked on that article did a fantastic job. Did a really fantastic job.
Side note to that, in the program, we are starting a marketing page, so keep your eye out for that in the next issue as well. Any other questions?
It's kind of a comment / question to see what your opinions are. One of the things I've struggled with some of the 2.0, I believe in all of it, but we all have, like John said this morning, we all have a boss, we have an owner to report to. Like DJ, I'm at a higher end property, which my time they don't necessarily want to spend on get golf ready or other things. So I respect your program, getting kids going. I almost feel like the national body just keeps sending the same message, but because it doesn't go specifically to our jobs, it's like, how do we refine it? And part of this whole day is the industry of golf, and there's certain parts that are more resonate with my job. But what do you guys think about the message the national body is sending out? It's a worthy message, but not every job and not every facility can just, okay, plug it in and go. You've got to take all these seminars today and say which parts fit to my business.
My thought on that would be to call Nikki Gatch. She'll come and visit your facility specifically and be able to help you specifically at your level, at your facility, and what works best for you.
But I would say just to that as well. For us with the junior golf thing and the growing the game, the instructional side very clearly is we're trying to grow the game and seems consistent with the message. The majority of the programs that we've created are in the image of it, meaning sort of it isn't following the guideline as we have to do it the way that they do it. We've started to do some intentionally exactly that way to be a part of it, that way. But and I don't, I'm not qualified to answer this one I don't know what the bigger powers would say to this. But to me, it's a guide. It's not a this is how you do it or how to do it. Not that it wouldn't be that for some people, but it's just this is where we're at, and these are some ideas that you can specifically do. Most of what we do is the way that we do it, because in the day-to-day, you've got to do what you've got to do for your golf course. So I take a lot of it as really more, it's just a guide.
Yeah, from the Golf 2.0 standpoint, I agree. We use it as a guide, but I think, what the section's doing now, the focus on leadership, there's two sides of it. Yes, we need more customers, but the other side is we need to understand how to run our businesses more efficiently, period. You're losing members left and right. If you don't get that membership up and you can't cover costs, you're out of business and you're out of a job, right? Same thing at our golf courses, same thing with the golf score, anything else. So I think there's two sides of education that needs to be going on. Education on how we get more customers, but then education on how the PGA golf professional becomes the decision maker. How do we get the skills we need to continue to grow? In the section, like I said, they've opened up this leadership program. I went to the one in San Diego and learned a lot from John's presentation, and I think those are the skills that we can't just focus on one and not the other, because we get a bunch of customers but we don't know how to manage that most efficiently. That could be a problem too. So I hope that answers your question.
I think DJ made a great point there. We bought a golf course. I own my facility with two other partners, and we went in about 8 years ago when things weren't going very well. And the worst thing that happened to us is that we had 20% revenue growth the first 3 years we owned it. So we didn't get our ship in order. And the best thing that's happened to us is in the last few years, revenue has been way off. And we got our ship in order. We're still in business now. There's another golf course locally that's closing. That's going to help us a lot. But because revenue growth was there for a few years, we thought everything was fine, and we let the status quo. When we came in, we just said, okay, well, we fixed the revenue problem here. We're teams. We weren't. We fixed what was wrong with the facility now. We're running a good business, so when the revenue growth comes back, I finally get to see that little box that John was pointing out, that the ownership gets to actually take a salary sometimes. Been waiting for 8 years for it.
Any other questions out there? Well, great. DJ and Josh, have a little. Thank you for presenting.
Oh, thank you very much.
This concludes the session. Thank you all for coming to our Golf Industry and Business Summit. We're very happy that y'all came. So thank you so much.
Thank you.